Okay, Corinne gave me a set of questions. Some of them is why you chose to be an actuary instead of other profession. How did you begin your career as an actuary? Where do you work? And how to be an IFOA, right? So a lot of questions like this, yeah. Then the next question is about what skills and mindsets do you need? And how do you excel? So I try to answer all these questions, right? Through a story, yeah. And then some of you asking, what's my experience in studying actuarial exams? Should I do a master's? So I want you all to have time, and I want Corinne to be the arbiter towards the end. What are the questions which are not answered? So like the third question, is it really important to pass professional exams to become a successful actuary? I would like to know who the person who asked this question. Ask him or her why she asked that question that way, because it's also interesting to explore that kind of thinking, right? If you don't pass your professional exams, how do you become an actuary? Is it with my counter argument, but there could be an interesting angle this person may have, right? Does gaining exam passes or exemption during university increase my career opportunities? That's an interesting question too, right? So you need to be very self-aware on the kind of questions you're asking. And those who ask this question, if you are happy, you can sort of put up your hand and say that I asked a question and there's a reason. It'll be quite interesting discussion, quite very interesting discussion. Career prospects, this one I can answer quite easily. And how the pandemic affect everybody. How do you see the prospects? Yeah. So these questions are quite reasonable, right? Quite reasonable, right? I'm going to stop the share and look at your. Okay. So Corinne, those are we good? Guys, you want to just put your video on. I just want to see that you are there. Can I put your video on? I want to take a screenshot. Choi, I saw your face, Choi. How are you, Choi? You're working now, right, Choi?
No, I'm in my last semester of study.
Oh, you're studying? Okay, so I met Choi before. Okay, Elvis, you don't be shy. Can I open? Because I want to get a sense of the room, you see. Because just now we started with a hiccup, right? But it's okay to have hiccup, right? Because we are all among fellow Malaysians and about 40 people from Thailand, from Thailand. Mainly Malaysia and Thailand, right, Corinne? I can't hear you, Corinne. And it's Marie.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Marie,
Thailand and Malaysia.
I'm just trying to create an atmosphere, create atmosphere, because I cannot just talk on my slide and just create atmosphere. You must encourage me, and then I can share with you all the secret, right? You must encourage me, because if I go to KL, UCSI, or Masa, you're all there, right? But here, talking to a slide, it's not very fun. So I need to see your faces, right? Elvis, you're smiling. That's why I want Elvis. Yeah. And Muhammad, where are you from, Muhammad? You're muted, Muhammad. Muhammad Imran. Muhammad, where are you from? Wow, you got to. Where are you from, Muhammad? Muhammad, say something. You must say something. You mute yourself again, before you say something, you mute yourself. Unmute yourself and say something. My mic is broken. Okay, that's good. Okay, your mic is broken, then we can't do anything. But can I ask you all, there is something called reaction, right? Reaction. You all can also press on reaction if you want to, but when we are talking, because when, okay, I'm going to go to the next slide. Okay, quite a few of you all. So most of you are first and second year students. Corinne told me that. First and second year students.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to take a print screen. Print screen now. Okay. Okay, I'm happy now. So I'm going to go. Okay, I'm going to tell you a story. Try to answer your questions as well. Because you must also understand that this is how I went through. That you can pick tips from me, right? Pick tips from me. But 30 or 40% of you, roughly, will find that my story is the kind of story you think you could use. Yeah. But the others may not, because it has to do with your personality or your type. Say for me, I would like to read books on personal development, but not everyone would like to read books on personal development. Yeah, because you tell it, you read a little bit sian already, you're not very keen, right? But doesn't mean that he or she cannot be an actuary or successful actuary. Yeah? You might have other ways to do it, is it? So I'm a type who is quite organized and quite like to read, I'm not sure I'm extroverted or not. That one for you all to judge. But not all of you are like that. So you must find the right story for yourself. So today's story, I cannot say Suee Chieh did it that way, therefore it's the only, it's definitely the only way. A lot of people succeed differently. And even if you don't succeed to be an FIA, as I said before, doesn't mean that it's the end of the world, right? We do not know. There are so many proverbs, right, to say that there are different paths of success and there are different types of success. But here, of course, my position is President IFOA, you're registered students of actuarial science, you want to be an actuary, right? So I'm helping you to be an actuary, and it's a good choice. It's a good choice. But if you don't be an actuary, don't be too harsh on yourself, right? But doesn't mean that you should not work hard to become. So it's for balancing it. So that is my opening remarks. You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying, right? I want you all to be successful actually, and this is how I pursue. But that is not the only way. Yes, I'm telling you my way. People think it is interesting, and you all come for my talk. I'm appreciative of that. But don't think that that is the only way. Okay. So slowly, I want to you all continue to chat on the thing, and Corinne. I give permission for Corinne and Choi. Choi can be a bit of an MC, and Marie to say that, slow me down and say that actually there's an interesting question coming up, because I won't be able to look at the chat. And because that will make the presentation more interesting. I will speak until 6:45, yeah? And then you'll have more, then I'll come back into a thing. Okay, so we are now relaxed. I got my bearings back. Just so when I came in, I came from a very complicated, not complicated, but from a rather intense meeting. So I need to get my thing. So now I'm going to share screen, and y'all can turn off your video, and until we are so the bandwidth will not be too affected. Okay, so I'm going to share screen now, and y'all can slowly. So now I got my momentum back already. Okay. So this is the kind of thing I'm going to talk about. How would you rate the importance of actuaries? This is first start with that first. Why and how, right? Why and how? Why I become an actuary and how, right? This one I think take 10 minutes now, because when I started, I was Form 4. Form 4, I was 1975, 16 years old. Form 4, Form 5. So 15, 16, and 17 years old, from 74, 75, 76, 77 are very important years of my life. 75, 76, 77, when I was 15, 16, and 17. At the age of 17, I went to UK. That's the year after my Form 5, lower 6 in Malaysia. I went to UK after attending 2 or 3 months at Taylor's College in Damansara somewhere. Taylor's College, old Taylor's College. I can still picture it. I'll stay there for 2 or 3 months. And I'll tell you the whole story afterwards. It's actually quite interesting story, because I go and look at my records just now this morning. So I'll tell you the story, so I'll concentrate on the 3 years, and then when I go to LSE, and after that I got the Joint Prudential. I think that will take 45 minutes, and it'll be quite interesting. Quite interesting. So it's all quite a number of interesting material I'm going to share with you. Then we'll tackle the other questions, right? Okay. So how I become an actuary and why, right? Yeah. Okay. So okay, what are the skill sets and all that? This one I will tackle quite early on, right? Okay. This one come later. I'll come back, and then Corinne, you remind me. And don't forget to answer all these questions. And okay, so you must understand. 1976 is when I do my O levels. Yeah, that's correct. And 72. Yes, that's correct. I was born in 1959. You must also picture. That Semenggeng is a very small town, but I went to Kajang High School, and there's a story behind that. Now, after that, I got into LSE. I went to do A levels in UK in 1977. After Taylor's College, Cochrane Road School, both are not happy. So when I went to Luton College is it's a technical college, but they accepted me because my grades were good, and they allowed me to do A levels in 78, and I got into LSE in 78. So once I got into LSE in 1978, I threw away all my books. Somebody asked me why I was so passionate. I was, because I already knew I was going to get a degree. I was so happy, you know. And you ask me what I'm passionate about. I can tell you I'm passionate not on books, on a lot of other things. You can ask me afterwards. Then after that, I got a job in Prudential, and then of course set the stage for what you call success. But how do I get to LSE and why I decided to become an actuary is more interesting. But then now your biggest problem as somebody who are in year 1, year 2, year 3 is to say, can I be an actuary? And why I become an actuary? And to get the job and the qualification. That's your biggest objective now, biggest objective, right? Because that's what you want. I tell you why I become an actuary and how I got it. Okay, that is the story for today. The rest, world of psychology, going regional, that one you just want to get your FIA, IFOA fellowship and get a job in Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, Hong Kong, anywhere, right? Anywhere. Okay, so then I'm going to tell you the 2 important points here, deciding to be an actuary and the 2 meta principles, okay? So I maybe can stop sharing and talk to you all because I can tell this story. Okay, maybe not. Most of y'all, not all, you must, I work out, you must be in the top 2 or 3% of your cohort in capability in mathematics, right? So in Singapore, every year about 20,000 babies are born. Top 2 or 3% is about 400 to 500 person, maybe 3 to 5%. Yeah, that is 600 to 1,000. You must be the top people in your classes. In Malaysia, I don't know what your cohort. If there are 100,000 students in a year, you got to be the top 2,000 in maths, or maybe the top 1,000, depending on the. Because if you're not good in maths, it's very hard to be an actuary. You got to be good in maths. Yeah, you got to be good in maths. You can be an accountant. You can be do an MBA, Bachelor of Business Studies. You're good in maths. You can also do maths and physics. Maths and physics, you can, right? You can do maths and physics. But those who want to be actuary, when they heard that actuaries the pay is good and can easily get jobs, that's what I heard also. I heard from Dominic. Yeah, Dominic. You see the name Dominic. You must understand. I was good in maths The teachers in Kajang Hindu think I'm good in maths. I got grade A's and all that. But until I meet people who are really good in maths in LSE, who are doing mathematics, then I realized that my maths is quite good, can get by, but not as good as them. I don't think I can be a theoretical physicist. Other people can, I cannot. But Lauti suggested to me in Form 4, when I said, Suee Chieh, why don't you think about actuarial science? And then that was when I was 15 years old, right? But at 12, 13 years old, I used to go to a friend's house, and he's an agent. He's an agent, but he's a very clever man. He has passed away. His name is Dominic. He's an agent. And he's an agent. He told me there is a profession called actuarial science. And the first person who worked in Malaysia who is into actuarial science is a man called Handa. He is the general manager and actuary of Great Eastern. He's from Sri Lanka. Eventually, he migrated to Canada and he passed away. Steve Wong is the first Malaysian who qualified as an actuary. I'll tell you more about Steve Wong later. But Dominic planted the seed on my mind. And Lauti, at the age of 15, he planted, and Lauti gave me a lot of things. I'll show you a picture of Lauti. And therefore, I went to British Council, to find out about actuarial science. And I wrote to the Institute of Actuaries, and I'll show you some replies they gave back to me from the IFOA. So this young person from Semenge, 21 miles, went to KL, and British Council is near the railway station, which is still there. But now the British Council is on the hill. And then I went to the Lincoln Cultural Center in Jalan Ampang to see the American career advisor, right? And she was not very encouraging. She didn't think very much of my grades and all that, because there are so many smart people in Malaysia at that time. And I'm Kajang High School, right? And then I got to tell you the story of my career advisor in Taylor's College, who basically told me don't stop dreaming to become an actuary. You can't be, because it's for other people. So I was very discouraged, right, by Mr. Siva. I found a diary. I found a diary. I was telling Corinne this morning, I found a diary which I wrote my entry in 1977. Mr. Siva tells me I can't be an actuary. Yeah, and I will not be will not go very far in life. That's why he told me. But okay, this is quite discouraging, right, for a young person. And also the career advisor in both Lincoln Cultural Center as well as British Council was not very encouraging. But then I come across 3 sets of books. One is by Napoleon Hill, one is by Dale Carnegie, and a set of books by 3 authors, Napoleon Hill, Dale Carnegie, and Bertrand Russell. So I'll talk more about that. But in Semangatini, I obviously was regarded as quite smart because it's a small town. So what are the career choices, right? One brother is civil engineer, 2 other brothers is accountancy. When I went to Taylor's College, so many people want to be civil engineer and electrical engineer. I said, cannot be engineer, cannot. Too much competition already. Don't want to be an engineer. But no one, some smart people knew about actuarial science, but no one wanted to do actuarial science. And throughout my life, I tend to do things which are not done by a lot of other people. Okay, not done. So that is my angle, right? My angle, but doesn't mean that you're going to follow it. But that was my angle. Then I came across Napoleon Hill through a recommendation of a friend of mine called Wong, whom I just met a few months ago. I haven't seen for 30, 40 years, right? Since he left Kajang High School. He was a guy that Suee Chieh, you better read this book. And this book was called Law of Success. And that book basically says that anything you put as your single goal and you work hard for it, you're bound to achieve it. And you must understand, my house, there was hardly any books. So I got a set of books by Napoleon Hill, and I'll show you the books afterwards, by Dale Carnegie and by Bertrand Russell. So you read the same books over and over again, and that is very good because you know exactly what they are trying to tell you and which page they're on. I can show you the book afterwards when we stop sharing. And that's how I started, and I started to write down what I want to be, and don't accept failure as an option, because success is inevitable to a person with unlimited enthusiasm. I can remember all these proverbs, the secret of success is constancy of purpose and all that. So Napoleon Hill would talk about a lot of people he researched on. Dale Carnegie, I was also I tend to worry a lot. Yeah? So Dale Carnegie got a book on how to stop worrying and start living. And the beauty of the book is a lot of it is psychological framing. But then he also introduced a lot of personalities like Marcus Aurelius, William James, Epictetus, Winston Churchill, Theodore Roosevelt, Abraham Lincoln, and a lot of biographical details, which were an inspiration apart from how to start worrying, how to stop worrying. And the second book was on public speaking because I was into public speaking. And many of you are aware that I wrote 61 tips. Yeah. So next week's or this week's tips, tomorrow's this Wednesday tips. No, it's the next week's actually is on public speaking. It's next week's. Yeah. And I wrote down how I began. So you should follow that. A lot of things I'm going to say today are in my tips. And the last one is Bertrand Russell. When we bought a set of encyclopedia, the salesman gave us a set of Bertrand Russell books. And that was remarkable because I started buying Bertrand Russell books and I read all his books except the technical ones and philosophical ones. And that gave me an intellectual foundation because my school, I didn't study literature and our history was not international history, but Bertrand Russell gave me an intellectual foundation into philosophy, into politics, into humanities, into social issues. Yeah. And that serves me up to today. That serves me up to today because you have immersion into these 3 books, 3 set of books. So that's how my thing started. So if you look at it, you look at the 61 tips. The first tip you must have is you must have a definite chief aim, constancy of purpose. And second one, you must have drive. you have these two, everything fall into the lap. So the question you have for yourself is, do I want to be an FIA or a CEO? And are you going to be determined on that to pursue it? If you have these two, you are going to achieve a goal. But I did talk about capabilities. So your goal setting and your focus and drive, there's also context that you must be able to conceive it, that you can do it. Otherwise, otherwise they're not aligned, yeah, in terms of your capability. So Napoleon Hill, I talk about him, and I talk about the two career advisors. Yeah. So I'm still in Semenge, yeah, but of course, when I was in Luton is a very average college, yeah, but I was able to position my application to LSE. So I got accepted by LSE, Southampton, City, Hereford, and Sheffield. Yeah. But once I got in, I was happy already. I finished all my A-levels maths in 4 or 5 months. You know, so the last 6 months I was not doing things I would ask my son not to do. Like I was smoking, drinking, and watching the 1978 World Cup. You know, and all that. It was Maradona was the star, Mario Kempes. You know, and then I went to LSE in 1978. Yeah. LSE can talk to me because now you're at university. Like LSE, I of course got my first class and all that, but I was not a particularly student. But I went to enjoy myself in politics and spend most of my time in pubs, you know. And I was certainly not passionate about my studies. I was passionate about other things, which you can maybe ask me later. Okay, which is okay. So this is the book Law of Success. You can see mastery of the 15 laws of success is the equivalent of an insurance policy against failure. It's a quote from the book. And then the other one, no man could possibly read the law of success philosophy even once without becoming thereafter better prepared to succeed in any calling. But this book is a very hardcore book written by American tycoon, personal development book, but he based it on a lot of American tycoon, which is not very fashionable. About it's probably written in the 30s or 40s. On tycoon who built the steel industry and all that, and oil industry. But so a lot of them, you can say that now may be the ugly face of capitalism. But how would I know, right? But that was the law of success, right? And these are the chapters in the law of success. So that gave me, but that also matched my personality. My personality is, I'm quite a driven type. Yeah. Some of us are more go with the flow type, or more people oriented type. For me, I'm very focused on objectives. Yeah. So it doesn't always work. Like I explained it. Yeah. So I want to tell you that. So the book say that you must write down. So this is a picture of Steve Wong, who's the first Malaysian actuary in 1977. Yeah. So 1974 was the top pupil. 76, I started my grades, you know, for all the years when I'm going to be an FIA. I said that my definite chief aim the next 7 years, 8 years became 7 because I got optimistic already. This is 1977. Yeah. So 97 plus 7 is 1984. Yeah. I became a professional actuary. So this is sort of my committing it to writing because the book says so. These are the things I received in Malaysia when I wrote to the institute. I still got quite a lot of correspondence, you know. This is the 1977 yearbook, yeah. So you see, I was very immersed in it. So if you talk about who are the council members in 1977, I can tell you, you know, and who the council members are in 1977 and thereafter, yeah. Because some of them were from Prudential. So I was very lucky, man. This bullshit is from Prudential. Okay, this Lauti who made a difference because he planted the seed of thought to me. I've written him, I correspond with him every year. And the last time I saw him was in 2019. I took him out for lunch in Kajang, and I think we went to KL to buy some books together. He's 12 years my senior. This is pawn shop, yeah, coffee shop. Yeah, this is very Malaysian. This Steve Wong, this is the guy, right? And I met him like 2019 in SIA, SIA. first class lounge, yeah, in Q4 2019, before we got locked down. Okay, the next guy is this AIA building. So Steve Wong was the first Malaysian actuary. So he got Guinness Award for Malaysian. But the person, but he's FSA. But the person who is working in Malaysia, I think there are three persons. Okay, Handa, I never get to meet. I met this guy and another guy called Patrick Poon. Patrick Poon was another actuary. He works in AIA. Okay? And I went to see him. I wrote to him and I said that, Patrick, okay, I don't know what I said, but I said, could I come and see him? And about 6 weeks ago, he came to my tips for senior actuary. Okay, but I met him 3 or 4 times in the last 40 years. Steve Wong I meet regularly because he always kept in touch with me in Singapore. And then in Singapore, he introduced me to Young Presidents Organization, and we are same on the luncheon club. So I'm seeing him every month. Yeah, he's a good friend, and I know his daughter who work in NTUC Income, blah blah blah. But Patrick Poon, I met him 44 years ago. Then I never met him again until 10 years ago when I gave a talk in KL, and I met him. He was it's an EAAC talk. I said I'm going to talk about you as well. Then he stayed on. It was very nice. And then 2019, I went to Hong Kong. I wanted to have lunch with him. He see me, and about 6 weeks ago, he turned up in and he told me he's actually a fellow. He qualified in 1975 earlier than Steve Wong, but he's not a Malaysian. He's a Hong Kong Chinese. Yeah. He's going to be very important to us. I can tell you that because he has agreed to, it's not news yet, but I can tell you, you're special. He agreed to support our thought leadership program and our efforts to have more scholarships in Asia. That's all I would say, more scholarships in Asia. But he's a very successful man. He's 75 now, I think. I think 75 is... He's 12 years older than me, 73 or 75, I can't remember. Yeah, but that's Patrick Poon. So I went to see him when I was a young boy. Okay. These books I just took a photograph. It's bound because it's so tattered, right? I bound it about 20 years ago. It's still on my bookshelf. These are so tattered. This is a new book. This is the old book. Yeah. Okay, you asked me how and why, right? So why I become actuary? Because I wanted to apply my maths in a commercial setting, and I don't be shy. I heard that you can earn a lot of money. They told me and actually can earn 5 to 8 times an accountant, I think. So I told my brother. My brother gave me that dirty look. I said, how could that be possible, right? 5 to 8 times on graduation. But it turned out to be true, okay? It turned out to be true. Because I went back to Malaysia, I was already, they gave me chief actuary job, because at the time there were hardly any actuaries. How and when. So there was how, there's when. Okay, these are the books. I was reading all these complicated books in 15 to 17. And these 2 books, even today, is actually quite serious. The other books are easier to read. The other books, I was reading that I could very familiar with all the things he wrote because there were no other books. Yeah. So that was the basis of my why and how. Why and how. So if I go back to your questions, why I choose to become an actuary, because actually at that time no one can give me solid advice. So I took a risk, but it turned out to be a good choice because I was mathematical and I want to work in organization. I don't want to work in as a maths teacher or a physicist, right? How to get into that? I think there was a circumstance. Now I think I could have gone to the US, but I went to the UK because it's closer. Nothing to survive. How do you succeed? Succeed is through drive and determination. Stressful, I think, is no more stressful than other jobs. I didn't regret it. Especially, I certainly didn't regret it. I couldn't ask for more, right? I got quite a lot of failures now, but I'm not sure it's necessary to talk about it now. I say that in my tips for senior actuaries. You go and watch the video. I talk about the mistakes I made, my marital breakdown, my middle age crisis, and even I had a small little crisis 2 years ago. 2 years ago, because I felt very stagnant. But that's life journey now. You shouldn't worry about that now because you're 17 or 19. You should try to get your qualification and a good job. But it's also not to, don't over exaggerate that money and position will solve all your problem, because it will not. But you shouldn't worry about that now, right? Your thing is that get a good job and a qualification, because it's true. By the time you get there, there are other things which are more important: family, children, relationships, purpose, community, parents, God knows what, right? Throughout your degrees, what are the things you're more passionate about? I won't answer that. I was more interested in other things other than books, I can tell you that. Okay, what are the basic skills we need to work as an actuary? I think mathematical skills. I also wrote down just now, communication skills. Then after that, I say that it's not skills, it's your mindset. I want you to be curious. But whether you're curious or not, you can choose a belief. So you can go and read up books on digital, right? I cannot go and tell you go and do Python. That doesn't, okay, but those who are into languages, you go and learn Python. Those who are into physical language like Chinese, go and learn Chinese, or French. It doesn't matter. Or you go to climate risk or digital investment. So when you're interested in investments, it can make it a big difference, okay? But not all of you will be interested in investment, right? Some of you will be in economics, some of you will be into modeling, risk. But go an extra step, because you want to be a good generalist. That means you read a lot of things, but also be good specialist. Yeah. So you must understand. How do you know if you possess a trait? I think the mathematical skill is non-negotiable. And then for me, I think it's curiosity and a growth mindset. That means you are always wanting to learn and experiment. Don't say that, oh, I qualified already, I'm okay. Yeah. So how do you excel? Pursue the excellence, curiosity, adaptability, joining the dots. These are all in the tips of 61, right? So all that, so I wouldn't overstate it. So now, I got 10 minutes before 10:45. I'm going to, Corinne, talk to me. Corinne, are we on the right track? Corinne? Corinne, are you there?
Yep. You have about 5 minutes. Yeah.
We got 5 minutes to 45, is it? Okay, that's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so I could, okay, I got a lot of social awareness and challenges when I was in Prudential. My English is still not very good by the time it was first. When I qualified, they sent me to an English college, for a few weeks to make sure that I can be understood. After I qualified, after I got my degree and qualified as an FIA, they sent me to because my English is Malaysian English, and at that time Malaysian English is really of the 70s. Yeah, might be even more different from now. Okay, and it's not Kuala Lumpur English; it's Semanggi English. Okay, but anyway, they are all my friends now. Okay, then I made my mark through a program. I learned how to program in Virtual C, and was producing results very quickly using my own PC. No, it's a standalone PC. Instead of the big programs where, because all the big programs is submitting by punch cards. And you can submit the program, you get the result the next day, right? So you want to change a variable, you can wait for another day. But I was able to do this by modeling using a simple program in 5 minutes, right? You don't even have, even not 5 minutes. And I was, senior people noticed me, and I was involved in the acquisition of Jackson National, which is a very big company in the US. And I'm lucky, I got mentors, right? People who are the chief actuary, deputy chief actuary, people like Graham Clay and James Sutcliffe, the senior people in Prudential. They noted that I was from Malaysia, and eventually they thought I could help them. So they give me a lot of interesting work, and then I went to Malaysia, and then eventually I was CEO of Singapore. So I think I can stop there. And the other thing is managing your boss and stakeholders, but you're not there yet. Right? Your point is to get there. You agree, Corinne? When you get next day, young actuaries, when they have a meeting, because most of you are first year and second year. So all this is when I'm ready. qualified an actuary. So I was in the press quite a bit in Malaysia because I was outstanding young Malaysian at that time. Someone nominated me and I was lucky to get it. I was very active as a volunteer. I was the president and I invited the governor. I was quite bold. I just write to him, so why don't you come for 10 anniversary? And he came. This is Graham Clay. I saw Graham Clay. Okay, this Eddie Goh. He's a GI guy, I think. This is the East Asia Insurance Congress where I present that paper. This Graham Clay, Karim I know. This is Dato Jafar Hussain, I think. This is Izam Shah, I think. Izam Shah was MC, who is still around. I think it's in KL. These are the books. Hyper Performance, Seeds of Greatness, 7 Habits, which sort of all influenced me. I was into that kind of stuff. I think. And now you got people like Robin Sharma and also the Robin guy. But they are all roughly the same. I listened to Robin Sharma the other day. He was more slick. I met Dennis Whitley before. Stephen Covey, I also met him before when he came to Singapore. When it came to speak to agents, I was very much involved in that. And then after that, I was involved in Prudential. You all can go and look at the YouTube link where I spoke about tips for senior actuaries, and you go into that if you want to hear about my crisis or shortcomings and how to cope with that. So this is Singapore when I became a CEO, 1994. I told them about 6 months later. My marriage broke down and eventually we had a divorce. This is my public life, but there was a private life. So I was in Singapore. This is after that I went to US. After that, so I went to US, study all kinds of stuff. I'm interested in psychology, right? Then worked in SHL, which is not an insurance company, but then they asked me to join the board of income because I'm not conflicted anymore. Then when I joined income, I started a few changes, transformation, and became outstanding CEO in Singapore in 2012. And towards the day I joined NTUC Group, which is a much more wider group with supermarkets and trading companies, pharmacies, healthcare, senior care centers, credit cards, and all that. It's a very big, complex business, which I enjoy very much. And now, then 2017, 2019, I was going to study, I learned a lot of things. I know all these courses I took, in 2017 to 2019, all these courses, digital strategies, independent direct theory of knowledge, because I'm into. Then I got elected to president. I was very pleased when they nominated me, but I didn't expect to be president when I got into the council. So I'm president now, and I don't think you need to worry too much about the details now, because the IFOA is going through a great transformation now, and I respect SOA a lot and casualty a lot. I also respect Australia a lot. I spoke to Roy Goldman only earlier this week as the president of SOA. But I'm very pleased to tell you that IFOA is undergoing huge transformation, and you'll see a lot of difference in Asia Pacific. They're changing the syllabus not just to enable you to thrive, not just in insurance, or in GI. Insurance GI is still very important. We'll give you digital skills, data science skills, but we also want you to think beyond, so you can work in any domain where there's data, where there's risk, there's uncertainty, because it's about how you think about the problems. Because the fixed way to think about problems is going to change because of digital revolution. This is another presentation. Okay, I won't go into here because you don't have to worry about it. You're going to have a fellowship in banking in 2022. That's next year. It's very soon. You've got a certificate in climate risk, which is coming out. Luis, my successor, is pushing very hard for it. Okay, this one is, don't worry about that. You're too young to worry about the 100-year life. You're less than 20 years old. This is for people who are 60 years old. When I talk to them, these are these values which we are trying to inculcate in our new actuarial actuaries. This is the traditional ones, which is still very important, but these are the new ones. Yeah. I'm actually on the board, advisory committee of the Columbia University. They're also trying to design a master's in actuarial science. Columbia University, because I'm a alma mater, right? Of alumni. I'm an alumni of Columbia. I'm helping them to design, along with Graham, who is the ex-president of the casualty, about how they should position. They want actuarial course which is transformational. So they are going to this kind of space as well. I wouldn't want to spend too much time on this because it's 6:50 already. I'm going to stop the share now. Okay. I think we stop the share now. Okay, I think I'm not doing too badly, Karin. I'm not doing too badly. Cover a good story. So there's a story. The more important is the story, right? Don't worry about details. Karin can give you the PDF file. All of us need stories and inspiration. If I could help in any way, I would be happy to help. I was clearly Dominic, clearly Lauti, clearly Patrick Poon, clearly Stephen Wong help me without knowing that they're helping me, right? Or they know they're helping me, but that's how life is. So you all got any? Okay, you got a chat. Only 1%. Everybody is doing something else. Okay, you all got any questions? You can ask verbally, which is better. If not, maybe Karin, you can ask me. Tell they would like to hear this. Karin, do you?
Yeah, I think there were quite a number of questions from the participants about the importance of professional exams. Is there something that you would like to advise students about?
But I need to understand. Of course, you have to have professional exams. Otherwise, how can you be an actuary? I mean, but I don't know who asked that question. Is it? It's just like I want to be a doctor. Can I don't study medicine? You know? So I want to understand the question. Is it? Because that may not be her question. Is it? You mean you can be just do academic and then come out and practice?
I think the question was is it important to finish all the exams as soon as possible, or is it better to gain work experience?
So of course you don't have to finish now, but you know, you want to be okay, let me see. You want to be a chef, you just want to know how to cook fried egg and kway teow only, and you want to learn how to steam fish. I mean, also can, right? But halfway anymore. Or you want to work in medical professional, can also be a therapist, also can. It also can be a therapist or a nurse or a radiographer or a doctor. FIA is like, FIA could be like a surgeon, but associate could be like a doctor. But there's nothing wrong with becoming a therapist or a sports physician or an anesthetist. No, there's nothing wrong with that. Different parts, right? But so you can but actually in our field you got a basic one. There's associate. Associate is not that basic, but the one below that is called certificate analyst.
Okay, actuarial analyst.
But you are degree holders. You may want to be more ambitious. Because okay, but partly I don't have a sense. I don't have a sense on your mathematical capability. Yeah, because to finish all the way to fellowship, you got to this one talking Malaysian style. You got to be quite clever, in maths. You can't bullshit your way all the way. You can't. Karin cannot, right? Karin cannot, right?
No.
Karin is
certainly.
FIA. Karin is obviously quite what obvious.
Yeah.
Karin is a smart woman.
I think.
No, I don't.
I think.
You don't come and go to a university and try to wing your way through. Cannot, because I met quite a few people who wing their way through in city. Cannot. They're all flunk. All cannot get jobs, and then they get job, cannot finish. In fact, they couldn't get the jobs. Those who are not that good cannot get the jobs because the companies will filter them out. I'm telling you the truth. But doesn't mean that it's the end of their life, because some of them go to do other businesses who are quite successful. Yeah. So that's why I'm trying to tell you the story in a nice way. So you want to pass the prudential work. Okay, I assume a prudential Excel will pick the top few. Obviously, not a whole lot. Yeah, not a whole lot. Yeah. Obviously, right? Obviously. So this is the hierarchy. Sorry, Corinne, I interrupted you just now. Sorry.
No, I totally agree with you, and that was why the question was asked to kind of re-emphasize.
Okay.
It's more of like their kind of interest, where their interest lies, right, and their perseverance to achieve their ambition.
Okay. So I will ask. Okay, I got two interesting questions in the chat. I'll answer them. But one on money and one on prioritization. Okay. Okay. I think 2 years ago, Suee Chieh gave a speech at either UCSI or Masa. I can't remember lah. But okay. I don't know how many students are per cohort in the 8 universities in Malaysia. Let's call it 1,000. But then there are also Malaysians studying elsewhere. She said there are probably 100, 200 jobs. Yeah, 100. That's what she said, which is not, let's say 250 jobs. So you all go and so there will still be 1,000 left, or 750 to 1,002 left, who cannot get jobs, right? But some of them would have, they can go and work in things which are quite mathematical, a risk job in Rashid Hussain or whatever, or something mathematical. But the balance will not. The balance will not. So you're got to figure out what you are capable of. But those who can't get, but if you can get to associateship, I think the qualification is still quite useful. But then the question is whether you have the appetite to do the exams when you don't have a job which supports it, is it? So that's a key issue, right? Because most of you will want to have a job to do the exams. Yeah. Should I prioritize? Okay, Corinne, you're probably better than me on this. Do you agree with my answer?
Yeah, I think personally, I feel that having some work experience would be helpful, and it's not just merely about passing exams.
But they may not get the job, you see. They won't worry about job, you see. Work experience requires job, unless you talk about any work experience.
Yeah, any work experience in the financial services sector.
Not so easy also, you see. Not so easy. Yeah, that is the issue, is it? So I know the problem there. So I think my encouragement is that that's why you got to find. But let me give you an example. If you're an accountant, the same problem. Yeah, you're an accountant, engineer, doctors. They appear to get a job. Do you know how many GPs sit in their places? And they're also very insecure. You're a GP, if you don't get a nice flow of patients, also tough. Yeah. So this is life. So that's why. So you have got to arrange your priorities, right? I think that is the right advice, Corinne. I don't think we are trying to sugarcoat it. So
no.
But the number of pure, that's why. So we are trying to give you a qualification, a qualification where the jobs. You give a qualification where the job is not, the qualification is still useful. Because this one, because this qualification teaches how to think, but it's not easy to be an associate. Not easy to be we're going to relabel it. To be an associate is an actuary. The fellowship is a specialist already. It's not easy to be an actuary, because you've got to pass all your university exams to a certain standard. To a certain standard. That's why you get exemption. Investments, economics, life contingency, stochastic processes, for most one, right? So okay, what does it take for someone to? Okay, no, I want to talk about something else.
So a question on financial insecurity.
I don't have because I'm quite lucky because I'm not super duper rich, but I plan. I got quite high incomes ever since I graduated, right? And I save it's all in the tips, right? I save my money. I'm not stingy also. I do spend. Corinne knows that I'm quite I like going to do nice things. But I do save. I don't have insecurity, which is a very nice thing to say at my age. I don't. If I live to 120, I'll be enough. But I'm not trying to because I don't spend very much anyway. So I don't have insecurity. and I think I'm quite prudent in my math. I think I am. Yeah. It's in a today's state or last week's state. Yeah. Okay, anyway, but that is not, you shouldn't worry about it. Why do you want to know? If no, how do you achieve it? How do I achieve it? It's in the tips. I told you, invest, start saving now. If you got a job, start saving now. You got to read Li Ka-shing. Li Ka-shing, I say you earn $1,000, you should start, Hong Kong dollar, you should start saving. You save before you spend, not spend and leave over save. All the people who are tycoons, they are all like that. Warren Buffett also like that. Bill Gates also like that. They don't think about spending money. It's true. It's true. So if you know how, it's all in the tips. My good friend, what's his name? Jay Shing. Do I know you? Your name is very familiar. Jesse, should I pricing exam or internship in university? I think internship is quite useful. But why can't you do both? Do internship and study like hell. Like man.
Don't you think soft skills are equally important to stand out among the peers? Because I personally feel that there's a lot of resources out there, like tuitions, extra tuition for you to pass your papers. And I have a lot of friends who pass a lot of paper during the study time. And I personally feel that the ability to express yourself or your thoughts or your ways to do it is equally important to stand out among your competitors. Yeah,
definitely.
like you join
I agree with you. I agree with you. So there are three circles, three stacks. Firstly, this conversation is about actuaries, right? But soft skills is very important for engineers also, right? Also very important for doctors, right? Also very important for accountants and managers. Soft skills is for everybody. So EQ, communication, team leadership. All this is for running teams. It's all very important, right? But that is not specific to actuaries. It's specific to life, is it? Yeah. Okay. So we don't disagree on that. So we are talking what else is important for actuaries, is it? Yeah, which is because we had the same conversation with Columbia. So somebody say interpersonal skill, of course it's important, but that is the same as telling your philosophy graduate or your accountants to have those skills as well. That one without doubt. So an actuary who actually tends to be even more cautious, right? And quiet or introverted. So have the ability to communicate in a compelling way is real plus. I agree with you. But what else do you need? Actually, so then when I went to the curiosity part about yeah. Okay. So internship. You see, you are in a competitive market, so you need to work on your. Firstly, your exam must be good, without doubt. Then exam result is good. Then the employer will look at what experience you have, right? Oh, I work in Aviva. You come out, then you can give them some examples. That would be a big plus. Yeah, obviously, right? So you got to look at that as a combination. That's why I asked, should I prioritize passing exams or internship? But if you are internship, you can't study. I think internship you can still study, right? That's what we did. Where is it either or? Jesse, where's Jesse? Jesse, do you want to show us your face? Okay, never mind. Anton, what? Okay, Anton, go and drive and focus. Drive is okay. Okay, drive and focus is the second one. What is that? If you want to be a CEO, Anton, by time 30 or 35 maybe, then you have the drive and focus. That means you got to find why would someone want to give you that job, right? Anton wants to say, what does it take? It's drive and focus. But you say you want to be CEO or you want to have 25 million ringgit at the age of 35, then okay, then why do you deserve it? You go and figure out. There are a whole number of reasons, right? You must be able to add value, or you got a great business idea, or you are able to do your positioning, you can explain, you can you can make people like you, or your presentation skill is so good, but cannot be just presentation skill. You got to have substance, right? So you're going to go, then you're going to learn. That's what the book tells you. And after enthusiasm, hard work, persistence, never say die, then you must be immersed in it. How does one become a badminton champion of Malaysia? My nephew is a badminton champion in Singapore. But only Singapore. But train like mad, train like mad. Because don't train, you see, because everybody is training. Go to badminton school. How many hours a day? I don't God knows how many hours. The mother is very worried, Say, if you go badminton, but father quite keen. So you don't be, because otherwise you can't. But this is not as competitive as that. You want to be an Oscar film star, which a lot of American and European young people want to be, right? Yeah, that one you go all out, right? And then you go there, so many people, so good looking, smarter than you, can dance better. So you fight. That is the essence of it. That is probably the true story, right? I am not, you're going to be an Oscar, there's so many people, then they became waitress and all that, looking for breaks. So many stories about that. CEO is a CEO, but CEO is easier. Anton, don't give up. Where are you, Anton? Can I see your face? Anton, can I see your face? Can you say something? May I go and find you? So there was a guy in China, Karin, you're not with me, when it was me, he said that he's going to be the first Chinese to be the president of IFOA, first person from China. See, university, he told me that. He was in front of the whole class. I said, good. But never mind, don't. Okay, Anton, I hope I give you the answer in an honest way. Okay, okay, what's the highest level of job? I think CEO or chairman. But Steve Wong is CEO was highest in a paid job. But Steve Wong, for instance, he's a businessman. He owns power plants and banks and all that. So he owns businesses. So that's best. I don't own any businesses because I'm not a businessman. I'm just an executive. Okay. I was just lagging. What is lagging? Yeah, I think so. You take exams, but then you actually must know yourself also, your own capacity and your support environment, right? Okay, I tell you what, any other final questions?
There is a question on how would the digital, the future of the digital revolution would disrupt the actuarial profession, and how do they stay relevant?
Okay.
And then I think we can take one more final, which is about work-life balance. So these 2 points.
Okay. Yeah, the digital one is going to disrupt not the actual profession. In my speech, disrupt everything, right? They're going to disrupt a lot of tasks, not the job, the tasks, the things you do. So therefore, you got to learn new skills, you see, so that you can. So your job as an actuary is a combination of tasks, like for instance, the secretary in the past. Nowadays, we can buy air tickets without going to a travel agent, right? So that is a task. But you still need a secretary, right? For some reason. But in the future, you might not need a secretary, just like actuaries, right? But you can't say, program, go and do a valuation of the business and produce a report for Bank Negara. The program doesn't move because their ability is narrow. The program, go and fry kway teow, go and buy fried kway teow and fry for me. They can't, but if you have a lot of fried kway teow, the robot can do it for you. But so you still need human beings. So you must go higher up in the moral vet products, right, to arrange things. So our value add is in judgment and arranging. But there may come a time, but that is the time when you could be 60 years old or 70 years old, where the insurance industry is changed beyond recognition. Yeah. Then the job actually, there come a time where banks will be, a lot of things banks do can be done without banks, through digital transmission, right? Yeah. And also risks can be managed without the way it's managed now. But that is going to be 50, 75 years from now, right? So you shouldn't worry about that. I think you should worry about getting a good job. Join the IFOA. IFOA will help you in mindset as well as skill sets. Okay, the next one is, Karin is laughing. Karin is very happy. The other one is about work-life balance. There's a challenge. I feel more sympathetic to women who are married and having children. So but life is full of choices, right? If you have children, I think the men say they help, but great, they help, but also not always same, right? So it's best to get this out of the way, in my view. Corinne, agree with me, with children? Did you qualify?
Easier said than done. No.
When you qualify, do you have children?
No.
You see, she's smart, because when children very hard, it's very hard. But marriage still can, but then life is not so qualify early, But okay, if it's before marriage, how do we work-life balance? For me, I'm my wife says so. I'm a all or nothing guy. If I give myself to a role, I'm like that. That's my personality. For me, work is I enjoy what I do. So I don't see it as sort of work. So Saturday, Sunday, not a problem. I have a meeting, send emails off you, but you don't have to answer necessarily. So for me, I'm like that. Even in sports, I go in, I'm going in. So that's my nature. So for me, there's no such thing as this is work, this is life. I see work and life together, and work, but it doesn't mean that I do not recharge. I go to retreats, I do meditation, I do yoga, I do running, but it's not like fixed boundaries. But that's very much my personality. But somebody, I think you're on a roll now, huh?
Okay, I think, Suee Chieh, we have kind of come to an end of our discussion today. In the chat function, you would see two links there. One is a feedback form, and the other is a registration to join the next session on banking. If you have any further questions to ask, you can also post it in the feedback form. There is a section for questions, and we can pick up any questions from there as well and reply to you directly.
Korea, I suppose there should be a star on the feedback form. What happened to it? It's not here.
It's also in the chat group, so they can click on it directly as well.
No, but there was a slide on the feedback form, but somehow it's not in this version. I don't know why. It's okay. Do you want me to go and find it? Is it in the previous version?
No, it's okay. Don't worry, because we have included a link there where everyone can click directly in the chat function.
Okay. I think are we good, Corinne? Okay, just give me a moment. See whether this one got. No, I don't have. So Corinne, are we good to close? But how many came? Okay, 130, not bad. Okay. I think the Instagram thing has most of the answers are 61 tips, yeah. And ultimately there's a limit as to what I can tell you. A lot of it is up to you. A lot of it is up to you, and go and read stuff, go and ask questions. There's so much information in the internet, right? So it's really up to you. I think for most of you, what you want to do is within your grasp, okay? So, but can you be good to Corinne and do the feedback form thing and say some nice things about us?
Well, thank you everyone again for joining us today. As I said earlier on, if you have any questions for Suee Chieh or for the IPOA, please feel free to fill in the form. We really hope that you have gained some tips and hints from Suee Chieh's valuable experience and his sharing session today. And we truly hope that you enjoyed the session today as well. So thank you very much, and all the very best in your studies.
Yeah, all the very best, and keep in touch to LinkedIn or Instagram, okay, or for Facebook page. Yeah. Okay, bye-bye. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Signing off.
Bye.